Welcome to the Misfit Squad Podcast,
where we invite you to embrace your difference and to discover a spectrum of possibilities and change what's wrong about you into what is strong about you.
We're your hosts. I'm Lucien.
And I'm Trina Rice. We're the Misfits. What's your superpower?
Hey everyone, welcome to our latest episode of the Misfit Squad Podcast. Today's show, don't leave home without it, traveling with your awareness. It's also a tool day, so we're going to talk about how, when, and why to use your heavy versus light. So, what is heavy versus light? Light and heavy is an energetic response and a tool that allows you to observe different sensations with your body in communicating with your awareness. So, we all have had that time where we walk into a room and you're like, holy hell, what's happening in here?
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. That is an example probably of your awareness of heaviness, right? Your awareness of the energy in the room. And lightness is, it feels different.
Lightness is where everything expands. It's kind of like where you feel like you had a weight that just lifted off of your shoulders, or you can breathe a little bit easier. A lot of times I notice sometimes when something's really light, I'll just take almost a deep breath as a sigh, where it's just oh, okay, where I can relax into whatever is showing up. And with the lightness part, everything really expands. So when we talk about the density or intensity, what happens is our energies or the molecules, they're really almost solidified together. And with the lightness, it releases a contraction. So they shift and they move a little bit more, and everything just gets a little bit lighter. And it's almost like you feel like you have a lift off in your body. You're like, woo! Maybe it's not that extreme, but
can be. Anyway, so we're gonna we've gone slightly out of order. So we're gonna circle back and start at the beginning. So light versus heavy. It's a tool that we use all the time to figure out what in the world is going on, to choose. So what feels light to you is true for you. What feels heavy for you is usually not true for you. So how do we use that in making choices? If it feels light, it's something I will probably choose to do. And if it feels heavy, I might not choose to do it. If any of you are familiar with kinesiology and muscle testing, light and heavy is the same thing kind of as what's your yes and what's your no. And as you're figuring light and heavy out, you can use muscle testing to help you practice that. So, as we said, when you walk into the room and it's so for me, often what is heavy, it literally feels like something is compressing me down. And when something's light, it feels like someone lifted bricks off my shoulders. Sometimes, as weird as this sounds, in a closed room, it gets brighter in the room. Sometimes, again, it feels like suddenly, I don't know, suddenly you can take a huge deep breath, right?
Yeah, and the heavy can also feel like a big rock sitting in your stomach.
Yeah, or sort of
yeah, you get really crunchy, like that. You can make the sounds too.
So those are sort of the and this is super important. How it shows up for everybody is different. So you really have to start paying attention to it and be aware of how that shows up for you. And as you get better at it, it will shift and change and could become more subtle, or it could become more pronounced.
Yeah.
Right. So
a lot of times when I've been practicing it, one thing you can do is you can ask your body, because you're looking for the sensations and the difference between the sensations of heavy versus light. So you can ask your body, you can say, hey body, show me heavy. And then just be with that and perceive the sensations going on in your body. Does it feel like you've got a heaviness running down your spine, or a rock in your stomach, or pressure on your shoulders? Do you just feel crunchy? How does it show up for you? And then you can ask, hey body, show me light, and be with that. And does it feel like Kim was saying, something was lifted off of her shoulders, or you can take a deep breath, or you just are more relaxed. So
cool. So that's essentially what I was going to ask, like, how do we do it? So that's a great place to start. Show me heavy, show me body, show me heavy, body, show me light. But what other ways do you use it? Like let's give them some examples of the other ways that they can use the tool throughout their day.
Yeah. So when you start playing with it and you get the heavy and light, you can use it in many, many ways. One way, you can use it around food. You can be like, hey body, would you like to ingest this? Would you like to eat this? And ask your body what it would like to eat, instead of assuming and thinking what it wants to eat. And then you can even take the food and hold it if you want to, or if you're drinking like water versus a soda versus something else, you can take it and ask, hey body, would you like to consume this? And then perceive what you get. Do you get a lightness? Like, hey, yeah, I'd like to have that. Give me some fluids. Or is it going to be, and no, that's not what I want. So you kind of have to play with it. But yeah, asking around food is one way you can do it.
Okay, it's an easy way to start. But we also use it. So we do use the tool specifically in relationship to stuff going on with our body, right? But we also ask that question if we're trying to decide what to do in our business. You know, if you've got something going on, you know, you essentially would be like, okay, so, you know, if I choose this, what will it create? Yeah. And
then like if you were going to go on a business trip, or you had some kind of a business meeting and you were questioning, or even another thing is like, say you have to present at a business meeting or something, you could ask, is this what they need to hear? Or is this what they need to hear? And have your two different examples. That's not very clean and clear, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to sort of like, especially in the beginning, as you're learning how your awareness works for you with this, you have to really like chunk it up. So it's like, okay, is this what they need to hear? And then you have to pause and breathe and be with that, like Trina said before, be aware of the sensations. And then depending on that, then you would ask a different question. You know, if you get that it's no, then okay, do they need to hear this? And the most important thing in all of this, especially when you start asking non-body questions, is you can't already decide the answer.
Exactly. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Did you hear the train say yes? So like, what we mean is, if you've already decided, then it tarnishes the information that you're receiving. So you really have to be willing to wonder from a place of curiosity, and follow the awareness with that.
Right. So you can't have a conclusion of how you think the answer should show up. You really have to ask the question and then perceive of the yes or the no, or the light or the heavy.
And also, you can't be like interested in getting the right choice or the wrong choice. You know, you can't be stuck in that. You have to really sort of like, this is a tool that you play with, and as you play with it and use it, it gets easier and works better. But if you're like stuck and they're like, oh, I don't want to do it wrong, or I don't know, I don't want to make a wrong choice, or like we said, you've already decided what you think the answer is, it doesn't really work as well.
Yeah. So you can, if you're asking about a particular situation or a thing that maybe has a lot of like emotion for you, or intensities around it for you, you can be like, okay, so everything I think this is, everything I think it should be, or the way it should go, and everywhere I've concluded how it should go, I destroy and uncreate that. I let it all go. Then after you do that, then ask, hey body, show me light. Take a breath, feel that. Hey body, show me heavy. Take a breath, feel that. Then ask your question. Yeah. And then you'll be more clear on what your light and your heavy is, because you're not doing it from that place of trying to figure it out and trying to get it to come out the way you want it to come out.
Right.
But I was going to say too, one way, another kind of fun way to play with the light and the heavy, even if you're traveling or a couple things, you're going to a restaurant, you can ask, which goes back to the eating thing, but you could ask, hey body, would you like to eat at this restaurant? And give them a choice. Or would you like to go eat at this restaurant, and name your restaurants? Another way that I play with it is, like, if you have to go book an airline ticket, you can specifically ask, what's going to create the most ease and what's going to get us there and our timely matter. And you ask, this flight, pull up the flight number, have it, or this flight. It's another example.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of ways to do it. There's no wrong way. There's no right way. And again, how it works best for everyone and how you can perceive that and get the information is different. So you have to play around with it. And so play around with it in the beginning around unimportant choices, which is why we always offer up the food suggestion, because you're not going to croak if you ate something your body didn't really want to eat. You just might have a little indigestion, or it might just be totally fine, right? So,
that's a good way of actually kind of playing with it too. If you do it, I mean, you can override it. It may not be your best solution, but like if you do get something and you're like, I don't know, was that light or heavy, and you eat it and then you get gas, or you're really bloated or just miserable, that probably was more than likely a no. I mean, it's just something to be aware of and play with. Yeah. I'm not saying that's true in every situation.
Yeah. So to recap, what's light is true, what's heavy is not, for you, not for other people, but for you. So what's light is true, what's heavy is not.
Yes. And
be with it, perceive the sensations your body shows you, and use that to choose. Anything else?
I was just going to say, this is really an amazing tool. Give yourself the time and play with it, because it can really change it can really help you in your life, and it helps you choose what is actually more light, instead of choosing the path of least resistance, instead of going down the hard, challenging road, and then you're there and then you're trying to make that light.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier if you just choose what's more fun and what's light in the first place.
Right. And also, like, if you're having like a stressful situation, the other sort of like background side positive impact of using the tool is it causes you to like take a breath and to be more present with what's going on, which will short circuit anxiety and upset in a stressful situation. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Don't leave home without it. See, the train is taking off. It's like,
all right, so we have a new free gift for our listeners. You can go to isyourbodyourbuddy.com and pick up our new ebook, How to Make Your Body Your Buddy, tools to having a greater relationship with your body. Yay!
It has amazing tools in there too. We talk a little bit about what we talked about today.
Yep. So check it out. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the show.
Our target is to make your awareness easy to use and to acknowledge the power of not fitting in.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube and share it with someone you know.
Why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Embrace your difference. Join the Misfit Squad.